Okay, perfect. So, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining the TAM R&D webinar series. This is our fifth webinar of the TAM R&D webinar series. And the topic of today's webinar is VMware Cloud Foundation, automating your journey to the hybrid cloud. So as you have seen that almost 80% of the organizations want to have a hybrid cloud strategy, wherein they want to have a mix of both private cloud and the public cloud. So it is important that we have a consistent infrastructure across on-prem as well as off-prem. So VMware Cloud Foundation is the simplest path to a hybrid cloud, wherein you get the same SDDC stack both on-premise, which is a private cloud, as well as off-prem on any public cloud. So you get VCF on VMC, on VMC on AWS, on Azure, as well as on the other public clouds. So we have Lakshmi Narasimhan today. He's the presenter of the today's session. Lakshmi has been working with VMware Cloud Foundation team since its inception. So he's one of the early members of the VMware Cloud Foundation BU. And he has a total experience of 15 years. 1 second, I'll go smooth. It's getting thing on Skype, yeah. He has a total experience of 15 years. So Lakshmi, do we also have Sandeep along with you for this session? He'll be joining later.
Yeah, he may join a little later.
Okay, perfect. So you will start, right?
Yep.
Okay. So before we start, I just want to set basic ground rules. If you guys have any questions, you can put that in the Q&A window at the bottom. So we will be monitoring the Q&A window. We will also try and have 10 minutes of Q&A in the end where you guys can unmute yourself and then ask questions directly to the presenter. The session is getting recorded, so if you want the recording or pass it on to your team members who are not able to join, reach out to your respective times to get the recording from them. So I think we are good to start. Over to you, Lakshmi.
Yeah, thank you, Nitin. So hi, everyone. So as Nitin mentioned, I'm on a VMware Cloud Foundation since its inception. Like it's been over 4.5 years, and so the journey is truly fascinating and then exciting. So let's start with the VMware Cloud Foundation. What is it, and what are we covering today, and everything. So here is an agenda. The primarily we'll be going over the use cases that are primarily driven by VCF or with the help of VCF, what you can achieve, and then VMware Cloud Foundation overview and its deployment models and architectures and key features and resources. These are the pointers that you can refer further. So let's go about the use cases. So one of the major use cases currently driving, as Nitin mentioned, right? Organizations are striving for an environment or for systems that can scale and that can work in a on-prem and as well as off-prem. And so they want to have an ideal solution for both the scenarios. And some of the private cloud challenges are the users, or the flexibility, or the facilities that a private cloud provides. It's like you want to run a data intense applications on your private cloud, and then if you want to comply to the governance, like any other compliance things that are available, so private cloud is the one, and then you have a control of your data and the central location of the data, and that's where the private cloud will actually dominantly play a role. Whereas in a case of public cloud, where it's more of a flexibility, where user wants to access from anywhere, and then it's easy, like with the with the public cloud availability, user can use any device, connect to the cloud, and can leverage the services. And also, it's more of a developer friendly. Like, if I want to build an app so that I can deploy over a public cloud and I can do my job done. So these are the different challenges, or the different features that a private cloud and a public cloud offers. But all the solutions, if you design a solution for a public cloud, may not work for a private cloud, or if you design a solution for a private cloud, may not work for a public cloud. So, and the rapid growth in a business, or the way the business model, operating model has changed. The customers need to have a balance of a private cloud and a public cloud. Currently, they are striving for they are looking for a platform that can enable them in both fronts. So here are the bulleted points of the what I was explaining. Like, modernizing your data center. I want to reduce my operational cost. I want to have more flexibility in terms of consumers accessing my applications, and then the ease of use with which they want to use an application. And also, I want to build a security around my apps so that I'll be free from attacks, and I'll be free from damages or whatever. And then I want to reduce operating costs. I want to operate at a lower cost. And then for doing on-prem and off-prem kind of a business, I need a common platform. And where is that platform coming from? And also the universal platform, where it's a developer friendly platform. I want to build an application. I want to build an app that runs on a private cloud as well as a public cloud. Where is that universal platform that I'm looking for? So all these current business struggles, the answer is the VMware Cloud Foundation. So what exactly, in a technical terms, what exactly a VMware Cloud Foundation? In a technical terms, VMware Cloud Foundation is an integrated stack that bundles the industry standard vSphere, and then the storage virtualization coming up with a vSAN, and the network virtualization that is coming with NSX, where SDN is predominantly playing a bigger role. And also, you need a cloud management where I want to have my VMs running into a single platform. So the VMware Cloud Foundation is a orchestrator, is a driver that actually integrates most of the VMware stack in on-premise or as well as in your public cloud, that can run as a service in a public cloud, which help you to integrate the VMware stack so that you can have a common platform. So these are the primary advantages, or the what VMware Cloud Foundation has come up with. It's built on the standards. The standard is like, we have a VMware validated designs. These are designs are written by the experts in the industry, how it is, how a particular infrastructure can be leveraged, how you need to architect all these the various VMware components. So this is a kind of a design guide. So the VMware Cloud Foundation adhere to that, and also it's an integrated defined cloud platform, as we discussed in earlier slide. So it integrates compute, storage, networking, all these aspects. And the another thing is, it is simple to deploy and operate. It's like, few button clicks, we can deploy an SDDC instance, and then it is a single pane of glass where a cloud admin can operate. So it is very simple to operate. And then it has inbuilt security. The security which the VMware Cloud Foundation enables you to use the respective security from a vSphere, NSX, and other VMware products provide. And also on top of that, VMware Cloud Foundation itself has a intrinsic security mechanisms like a certificate management, and a password management. And the VMware Cloud Foundation also supports the traditional workloads, in the sense like a VM-based workloads, and also new workloads like container-based workloads, which gives a developer access, and a developer has a platform to deploy their own apps. And the another thing that VMware Cloud Foundation is the striking feature is automated lifecycle management. The VMware Cloud Foundation takes care of all your lifecycle management needs. Be it a vSphere upgrade, be it a NSX upgrade, be it a vRealize upgrade. So all those upgrades or updates are automated. So user doesn't have to worry about the maintenance cycles that he has to spend to upgrade his environment. And also, since the VMware Cloud Foundation builds a common platform, so it enables a path between a public cloud and a private cloud, where you can actually seamlessly migrate your workloads between private cloud and a public cloud. So this is a universal platform, how it built today and can be consumed by future. So the core pillars of the VMware Cloud Foundation, vSphere, vSAN, NSX, vRealize, and the SDDC manager is a driver for all these automation activities. And on top of that, you can define your solutions like Horizon VDI desktops is one of the solutions. vRealize to have your own workloads, and then it's integrated to the pivotal service so that you can have a Kubernetes as your Kubernetes clusters, which can help you to deploy apps and develop more apps. So, and this platform is common between a private cloud and a public cloud. If you are a VMware VCF enabled public cloud, if you go to if you have access to it, has the same stack. And if you deploy your VMware Cloud Foundation in your private cloud, it has the same stack, so that your apps have a common platform to work with. And so we actually delivered industry standard integrated stack. One is a compute, storage, and the networking that we leverage, and the cloud management suite that we have, and also it has lifecycle management and other day two operations. So coming to security, how VMware Cloud Foundation provides you a security. Now this picture comes up with says a lot. So one is, you will have, since we are integrated with the NSX will provide you a VPN, secure end access, micro-segmentation. And with the vSphere, you always have the VM level encryption, vSAN encryption, and other data protection strategies like decompression, deduping, and everything. And also this also complies to your governing standards, and we also adhere to the VVD design. What are the security features that we need to configure on a particular platform? And also we do have a support for a app defense integration. So these are different security security facilities that a VMware Cloud Foundation can provide.
Yeah, so the best part here is we have security of the data both at rest as well as in motion. So while you are doing a vMotion, that time also the data is secure, and while the data is at rest on vSAN, that time also the data is secure. So that is what Lakshmi meant here.
Yeah, let's come to the VMware Cloud Foundation architecture and the deployment models. Currently, we have two models that we support. One is a standard architecture, one is a composite architecture or a consolidated architecture that VMware Cloud Foundation supports. A standard architecture is where you will have a dedicated management domain, and which is basically used to hold your management components, and the user workloads are deployed as a separate infrastructure workload domains, VI domains that we call. So each workload domain is managed by the vCenter itself. So there is each workload domain is independently managed by a different vCenter server. So this provides a scalability, and also the lifecycle management features are very easy. In a consolidated architecture where you want to do a particular special use cases, where we want to have shared management domain across the management components as well as your workloads. So here it's a management domain is shared between your management components and also the workload components. So let's go about like with a diagrammatic approach, like standard architecture model. So this is how a typical data center look like. So you have a top of rack switches, and then top of rack switches are connected to the inter-rack switching, and then you will have these are the racks that are available, and the management the management is a special domain where it actually holds all your management components. The VI domains are across the racks. I mean, you can have a VA domain within one rack, or you can have a VA domain cutting across the racks, and each VI domain is managed by a separate vCenter instance. So there is always a segregation of the workload between the management domain and as well as your workloads. And a consolidated architecture is a where it shares in a design management and user workloads run together in a shared management domain. This environment is completely managed by a single vCenter and a vSphere resources that are isolated. I mean the resource pools are used to isolate between management and user workloads. This is a consolidated architecture. I mean, here it's the user who needs to manage their workloads in this kind of an architecture. And some of the facilities like NSXT and Horizon PKS are not supported in this consolidated architecture. I mean, this is morely used in a POC kind of an environment, and sometimes if we are looking for a smaller enterprises where they don't have a bigger data structure infrastructure needs, they can adopt this approach. And coming to the deployment models, so the VCF supports 4 types of deployment models as of today. The one is VCF single site deployment. So it's like one instance of the SDDC manager or one instance of the VCF Cloud Foundation is running in your data center. And the second thing is a VCF stretch deployment, where the vSAN, I mean, you're gonna have a vSAN stretched between the 2 sites so that you will achieve a DR solution. You can achieve a disaster recovery kind of a solution, and where your workloads running in a site 1 and also as well as site 2. And there is the other one is a VCF edge site deployment. This is fairly early access to the customers, where we wanted to have a remote vCenter management. So this is still under early trials. And the second thing is it's a multi-site deployment, where the users or the enterprises can deploy the VCF instance in a multiple sites, and then each site can be managed using a single pane of glass. So there is a federation happens between the different sites, and you will see entire your entire your VCF management and the site-wise management as well as the consolidated view you can do in a single pane. So these are the 4 deployment models that the VCF Cloud Foundation supports. So are there any questions at this moment? Okay. Let's go about the features. The features of the VMware Cloud Foundation. The primary feature is like it's simple in its deployment. I mean, few button clicks, you'll have your SDDC stack up, and the SDDC manager is available for all your day 1 to day n operations. And if you'll have a single pane, single interface for all your management or your workload management and the day n operations. And the other feature is like, whenever you want to expand your workload based on your needs, or you want to shrink your workload if the workload is consuming more resources. So expansion and shrink is very much feasible. And the security, the VMware Cloud Foundation itself provides additional security mechanism like your certificate rotations, your password management. Like when you say default password, default password action in a VMware Cloud Foundation, where we generate a random password according to the password policies, and we apply to them. And there is also facility like, okay, I want to update password alone on some XYZ components. So that option is also available with a VMware Cloud Foundation. And the second thing is like, you want to deploy your own workloads. So the cloud management suite, vRealize automation suite, helps to define your own workloads, and you can leverage the vRealize automation at its best. And also we do a monitoring and logging. Yes, we do integrate with the VROps and VRLI products. So where you can actually consume where you can actually use your logging for your own analytics, and you can monitor the workloads using VROps. And the solutions that it supports Horizon, the VDI solution, and also the container solution, PKS. And another thing is it has automated lifecycle management, where customer doesn't have to worry about, like the operational cycles that he has to spend on updating his infrastructure. And the second thing is high availability. There is an automated high availability feature called vSAN Stretch Cluster, where customer can leverage and protect their management workloads are very business critical or mission critical workloads using vSAN Stretch Cluster. And there is a guidance that we support for NSX cross-site. I mean, it's a documentation that how a NSX cross-site can be established. And we do have a backup and recovery. We currently support backup and recovery for the SDDC manager. Whenever SDDC manager goes down, how you can recover from your backup. And also the SDDC manager the VMware Cloud Foundation has a flexibility. We have a public API support that is available, where you can integrate the vendors or the customers can integrate with their own cloud management products or suites or whatever they maintain. And also the multi-site management is an add-on feature that we have on the VMware Cloud Foundation. So this slide is more talks about like, how SDDC manager actually helps you for a day 0 to day n operations, like your deployment, configuration, provisioning, and as well as patching, certification management, and the backup and restore. So Nitin, do you want to take us a demo, like how the deployment happens, the SDDC deployment happens and all? Nitin? No, yeah, Nitin.
Hey, sorry, Lakshmi, did I miss something?
No. Do you want to go about like the demo piece, like as though how to SDDC stack is built up, and the stuff demo walkthroughs about the various workflows?
Sure. Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah. So the first and foremost thing that that happens, whenever you got a VCF package, like you'll have two components. Basically, one big component called Cloud Builder. The Cloud Builder is a basic component that helps, that does a day zero activity for building up SDDC instance. And
Lakshmi, sorry to interrupt you. We have a question on the Q&A window. Do you want to answer that question?
yeah, let me see that. Can a consolidated architecture scale out? What is the limit of the number of sites in a multi-site deployment? Okay, the consolidated architecture is like, it's built where you have very limited resources, or a kind of small organizations, very a small organization where they want to have their workloads running in a limited number of servers.
Yeah, so I think the only limitation there is the maximum of hosts a vCenter can support.
Yes.
It's limited by the number of hosts supported by vCenter.
Yes. Where you have only one vCenter is managing entire your workload, as well user workloads, and as well as the management workload. And what is the limit of number of sites that are allowed in a multi-site deployment? So even the consolidated architecture will be running SDDC manager. And currently, the multi-site management, we are limiting to 3. Only 3 sites currently can be managed. So that's a scale limit that we have in the multi-site management. So Deepak, did I answer that question? Oh, okay. Yeah, thank you. So I'll be going through the demo of, demo or maybe a live interaction between how the SDDC manager is deployed, and the first instance of VCF it has come up. So I have deployed a cloud builder in my private Nimbus or private infrastructure. So this is the interface where I can log in. And then, so this is a bring up, what we call is a day zero step, where basically, right, vSAN, the VMware Cloud Foundation works on a vSAN ready node infrastructure. So you need to have your servers which are compliant with the vSAN. So when you have all these vSAN ready nodes available, and then they are wired or reachable or established in a proper way, then this is the checklist that one can go through. Like, the vSAN compliant, need to have SSD and HDD, or SSD and all flash devices, and your firmware need to comply with the vSAN. You need to have DHCP, NTP, and DNS is configured. And we don't support LACP, so the infrastructure do not need to have, shouldn't be enabled LACP. And your DHCP is required, and you need to have a routing between your VLANs. And the VLAN IDs are appropriately tagged to the management network in ESXi, and ESXi is rightly imaged with the BOM supported. VMware Cloud Foundation release notes will say what is the current BOM that we are supporting. So all we need is like a vSAN ready node, vSAN ready nodes. If the servers are vSAN ready node compliant, then with the minimal settings like DNS and NTP, we can go with the VCF deployment. So this is a end user acceptance, license agreement acceptance. Here is we can download a data sheet, which I have downloaded here. Let me go about the data sheet that we have. So this is a data sheet, that's an Excel spreadsheet that we have. It says about what are the prerequisites. You need to have SSH enabled, NTP service running, and other requirements. VLAN IDs need to be tagged, and they are properly connected. Your infrastructure is up. And this is about the management workload that we that we support today. So these are the PSC appliance. We deploy an external PSC, and then the vCenter appliance, NSX controllers, SDDC manager appliance, and the login site nodes. And this page talks about the user credentials that we use while configuring the various appliances. And this is important page where we define the networks that we consume. Since I'm running in a private pod, so I don't have a VLANs. So in my case, all VLANs are 0. In a typical environment, we will be having a VLAN IDs for all of these things. And the other deployments parameters, like what is your DNS server, NTP server, and then the vCenter host name addresses, PSC host name addresses, and the NICs, the NSX manager. NSX manager, and the other artifacts, other appliance host names and everything. So this is about the deployment spreadsheet that need to be provided to the SDDC manager, cloud builder. Now, for the cloud builder, we'll be uploading the spreadsheet. And once the spreadsheet is uploaded, we'll go for a validations. So here it runs, the cloud builder runs the bunch of validations, whether the password that we provide are appropriate, the spec is appropriate. I mean, the licenses are empty in my spreadsheet, and it does the cloud builder readiness, all different kinds of checks that it would do. And once it completes all the pre-validations and verifications, you can say next and go for a deployment of your SDDC. When a SDDC completed its deployment, this is how it looks like. So here the cloud builder, where it has successfully completed its deployment. So it has run all the tasks that are automated and repeatable in various cloud builder deployments. Or if you want to build another instance, you can use the cloud builder and deploy the cloud builder in their respective environments and do a build of do the building of SDDC instance. So these are the various tasks. These are automated tasks that are executed. I mean, these are the entire workflow. This is a workflow that builds the entire SDDC stack. Will take roughly 1.5 hours, so that you will have your SDDC stack up and running and configured. And once it is available, so this is how you see your SDDC manager SDDC manager interface. So here is a dashboard which says about, I have a management workload domain, and the host that I have, and it also says about details about how much CPU that I've consumed by the domains, and what are the various tasks that I have done recently. In this environment, I have uploaded the bundles. So it shows the tasks about, like, the Horizon bundle is updated, NSXT manager bundle is updated, all this such information, and the workloads the workload screen where it shows about the details of the workloads that we have. Currently, I have a management workload. The horizon is another workload that we support. And the containers is another workload that we support. And this is about the host information, the different hosts that are consumed, unassigned, available in an inventory. And the next section is the bundles. This is the important important feature that VMware Cloud Foundation has provided is like the LCM, lifecycle management. this page describes about what are the different bundles currently available. Currently, it says like this bundle is available for me to upgrade, to update, and these are the futuristic bundles. Once this bundle is completed, this bundle application of this bundle is completed, all the other bundles are available for me for consumption, for patching, and for also installation. So this shows about what are various bundles download history. And the network settings, this is another important feature where we can actually define the networks that will be consumed by the workloads. We have a licensing, and we have a user access. This feature is currently is evolving. I mean, there are still more features are coming in the new releases.
Lakshmi, do you want to take questions before we?
Yeah, that I'm open to questions.
Okay, so there was one question from where we can download the XLS file, the configuration workbook. So I think you can do it from the Cloud Builder VM, right?
Yes. The Cloud Builder VM, as I showed, right, we can actually download the XLS file. We can click on that link. It will the XLS file will be downloaded, where you can provide your detail and submit it back.
Okay, perfect. So the second question is, apart from the lifecycle management, what are the other functionalities that VCF offers compared to VxRail?
Apart from lifecycle management, that other functions that VCF offers compared to VxRail. This is VCF and VxRail are the two flavors, and VCF is also supports on top of VxRail. Suppose if you have a VxRail deployment, we have a feature called VCF on VxRail. So this is something, when you have VCF on VxRail and a plain VCF, you will see the functionalities are same. So, and the VxRail has additional features like, firmware upgrades, firmware management, or firmware upgradation of your firmwares. So these are the two. That's the only major difference. Otherwise, the workloads that are supported on VCF are supported on the VxRail as well.
Right. So when you have VCF on VxRail, you get best of both the worlds. You can do an entire software upgrade, whereas with the VxRail manager, you can also do firmware and driver version upgrade. So that's the advantage you get with VCF running on VxRail.
Yes, true.
Can the deployment be customized? Say if the user don't want the VRA with the deployment, can VCF support this scenario? Yes, it does support that scenario.
Yes, it does support the scenario. Especially the Cloud Builder, right? Cloud Builder builds a basic in SDDC stack. It doesn't have the VRA embedded in it. Whereas there are multiple flavors of the Cloud Builder are available. One is like to support VxRail and also to support VVD kind of a deployment. When you are deploying a Cloud Builder, you can choose that particular profile, and based on the profile, it acts. So the profile that VCF, the profile that I have showed or demoed is a VCF profile. So which doesn't automatically deploy VRA, it only deploys VRLI.
Right. And once you have the SDDC manager deployed with by the help of Cloud Builder VM, and once you have the entire stack ready, the SDDC stack with vSphere, NSX, and vSAN, then you would use the SDDC manager UI to deploy the vRealize suite components like vRealize automation, vRealize operations manager. Log Insight is initially deployed along with the SDDC stack.
Yeah. Yes, that is correct. So it is.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, we can continue.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. So this is the repository settings where the LCM service can talk to a depot, VMware depot, where it can download VCF certified bundles. And we do have a support for the composable infrastructure. We support Dell HP Synergy and Dell MX. And the vRealize suite, yes, we do. I mean, in this SDDC instance, I didn't. It's a VCF profile, so it didn't deploy any vRealize automation or VROps. So we have screens to where you can go ahead and deploy vRealize suite. So this is login site is the only one which is deployed as a part of day 0 SDDC deployment. And the security, yes, we do have a registration with the Microsoft CA. Microsoft CA is a mostly within your on-premise CA, and we do have a support for if you have an external CA authority where we can generate a CSR and submit the CSR to the external authority, get it certified, and upload it to SDDC Manager. Even that workflow is also automated. I'll be going through those tabs. And we have this backup configuration. And by default, when a cloud builder deploys the SDDC instance, the SDDC Manager is act as a backup. Later it is requested to the customers to update the backup store. And we support CEIP, and also another thing is like we have a development center where you can actually access the API, and you can try the APIs using API Explorer. Code samples are also available where you can try it out. Let's go about management domain in detail. So here is a management domain. It's a kind of virtual infrastructure domain. If I click on, I'll get inside to this, where I have one cluster, primary cluster, and different services. Here the services instance, what are the different appliances that it has deployed: PSC, VC, NSX, and a login site. The other thing is like, the patches. This is a interesting topic, like lifecycle management. We have automated the automated lifecycle management is available here for each domain level. You can update management domain first and later the workload domains. So your management domain always to be running in a higher version than the workload domains. And here the entire process, like, if I connect to the VMware depot, as soon as you connect to VMware depot, a lot of bundles will be downloaded and kept in the repository. But LCM, the lifecycle management service, is capable of understanding, like, which upgrade is available, which upgrade needs to be applied first. So entire orchestration of lifecycle is taken care. So we can schedule an upgrade based on the maintenance window and everything. And this is the current versions. It will show like what is the current version that is available here and all. And the update history. So when you have done update history, it shows what are the updates that has happened, and the hosts that are part of this workload domain, the clusters. We do have a support for multiple clusters in a single domain. You can define different kinds of clusters. Except for the management domain, other domains you can have a heterogeneous clusters. Heterogeneous clusters in the sense, I can have a cluster with a vSAN, I can have a cluster with a NFS, I can have a cluster with the FC. And the security, here it's majorly does about the certificate management, where you can select the components and generate a CSR and generate a signed certificate. This will help when you have register your certificate authority to SDDC Manager. and then install your certificates. If not, you can generate the CSR and get those CSRs and get your CSR certified with the certificate authority. Come here, upload and install your certificate. This way, we actually automated all your certificate, applying a certificate on various components. This works at a domain level. So any other question at this moment?
Let me check. No, I think we're good. No more questions. Yeah, we have. Can we have an internal repository?
Internal repository in the sense like?
He's talking about the offline download.
Yes. So this is I mean, the internal repository, you can have your own internal repository. For example, most of the companies does, like you'll have some shared location, shared server, which actually downloads the bundles, and you can configure that server to the LCM service. Yes, we do support that. I mean, it's in an operations guide, we support like how we can achieve that. I mean, our admin guide will help you with the steps.
Yeah. No other questions.
Okay. So this about the workload management and the host. We have, if you go to a host tab, so where we can actually commission the host, which means that you can have a new host created for you. I mean, new host can be added to the inventory. So where I can just have one. Here my ADDNS is my DNS server. So when you're doing a host commission, so we need to undergo all these preliminary checks, ensure that your host is appropriate, vSAN ready node, or the NFS compliant. and also you need to have those network pools created, the network settings available are registered with SDDC manager, and then we can proceed. So when you're doing a host commission, we does validate all the settings that are coming up with the host. Like do we have a free NIC, or do we have a in a case of FC, we validate whether FC is available. In certain cases, if there is a validation fails, like we do all these different kinds of validations. Once that is done, you can go ahead for the commission of the workload, commission of the host. So once the host is commissioned, it will come in this list, unassigned host, and this host can be consumed for later operations. For example, if I have to expand my workload domain, say be it management workload domain, if I have to expand, I go to a particular cluster and do an AND host operation, where I can pick the hosts that are available in my inventory. I can add it to the cluster. When you say select and add it to the cluster, it runs a workflow similar to this one, a workflow similar to here, where I'm actually these are automated tasks, which is here I'm trying to create NSXT workload domain. So all these are automation tasks that it runs. So in my particular case, another feature, right? I mean, I would like to show, like, for a particular result, we support this BOM. So all these BOM are are available are as a installers or as a patches in the VMware depot, which are VCF certified and VCF enabled bundles. When you have this repo connectivity, so all these bundles will be downloaded. So when all those bundles are downloaded, so you can consume for your workloads and you can consume them for an upgrades. So if I say I can restart this task. I mean, this is another feature, like, if there is a workflow failure due to some reason, you fix that workload and you want to restart it again. So that also possible here. So these are the different flexibilities that SDDC manager supports. These are automated deployments. You can run repeatedly n number of times on your infrastructure. So here my workload is in progress. So anything that you would like to know, Nitin? No, I would like to say.
No, I think we're just 7 minutes before the time. So maybe we can open for questions. So I will unmute everyone. And then if you have any questions, you can either put that on the Q&A window or you can directly ask Lakshmi in case if you have any questions. I think I have unmuted. Mukund, are you still on mute or have I unmuted you all? Shri, can you confirm? Okay. So Lakshmi, we do not have any questions on the Q&A window. No questions on the chat.
Yeah.
I think I have unmuted everyone, but looks like nobody has any question.
Okay.
So we'll wait for 1 more minute.
Yeah, sure.
If somebody has a question. Did we also cover the PKS part by any chance?
Yeah. That's the next slide which is coming in. Okay.
So I think we can continue talking about the slide until somebody has a question.
Yeah. So there is a question like, how does the login site deployment happens? Is that through VRA or SDDC or through SDDC manager? Can you please explain the deployment in the sequential order? So the login site is actually it happens through a cloud builder. So when you are building an SDDC instance or SDDC stack using cloud builder, so cloud builder has a workflow that deploys a login site. It doesn't go through the vRealize VRS LCM. Later, once the SDDC manager come up, then the VRS LCM takes the existing login site details and you can go for an upgrade. So to answer question is simple. Login site deployment does not happen through VRA. It happens through cloud builder before the SDDC manager gets deployed.
Yeah.
And the sequence of operations, how it happens is it deploys VC, it deploys PSC, it deploys VC, it deploys NSX, later it deploys login site, and then at the end it deploys the DC manager. So that whole process completes, what we call is a bring up or a day zero activity. Once that is done, your SDDC manager is available for an access. And so when the SDDC manager is available, that time your login site is already deployed.
Yeah, and Lakshmi, as far as I know, this login site is only for the management cluster. You can't use this login site for the workload.
No, Nitin. We have a feature. What we do is like, I'll explain here.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a feature with a here, if we go to login, vRealize suite, and then login site, we have this button enabled. So since I don't have any workload domain in my environment, button is not enabled. So if you have workloads, this button is enabled. And also currently there is a workflow is in progress. That's why it is also disabled. So when you have these workloads, you click on enable. When you enable it, what happens is like even for that workload domain, the login site analytics will be collected. And in future, if you deploy any new workload domain, so by default it will be enabled. So the thing is, once user completes his SDDC deployment, he will come to SDDC manager and enables this button, and then he can deploy the newer workloads. And all the newer workloads will have the login site enabled.
But for the workload domain, the customer also need a license of login site. But for the management domain, where the login site is automatically deployed during the deployment, you don't need a license.
Yeah, I mean there are there is a this thing, Nitin. I mean there is a JSON format where you can actually input a license. If not, later once the login site is available, customer can go ahead and apply the license. Either case it is available.
Okay. So it looks like we answered that. Any more questions? We have one more. Can we build as many clusters as we want?
Yes, we can build as many clusters as we want, but it is a limitation of the vCenter. How many vCenters that how many clusters that vCenter supports? Till that point, you can actually deploy the clusters.
So there is no limitation of VCF, but it's a limitation of vCenter.
vCenter, yes.
For the number of clusters. Okay.
Yes.
And can existing VROPs be used to work with VCF deployment?
That is we have this brownfield story, like that will be coming up later. Like any SDDC that is a customer built, like can that be managed by VCF or any other VRA or VROps? Can those be managed by VCF? I mean, those stories are still under backlog items that we can see them in the near future.
So brownfield ingestion of the infrastructure in VCF is still in the roadmap. It is not there yet.
Yeah, it is in the roadmap.
But mostly we would want to have all the VVD deployments ingested into VCF initially, and later on we can think of the deployments which are not done through VVD. But first the plan is to target all the VVD deployments if they can be ingested into VCF. But that is in the roadmap.
Yes, correct, Nitin.
Okay. Any more questions before we wrap up? There's already 4. Lakshmi, you're done with all the slides, or you want to cover anything?
Yeah, I mean, couple of slides that I have, like,
Okay,
so
let's complete until we get some questions. And
yeah, sure. So we have, I mean, this slide talks about all the SDDC management, SDDC manager management. So that we have walked through. And then these are the solutions, the 2 different solutions that currently we support is a Horizon and as well as PKS. So the support, like, we do deploy Horizon connection servers, composers, app volumes, UAGs, and UEMs, and so we integrate them with the existing VI workload for the deployments. So these are all these are all the single pane actually, and we do support the PKS container workloads. And we actually deploy the PKS infrastructure, the Bosch server and other PKS necessary infrastructure in the management domain, and then we can deploy the Kubernetes cluster in the workload domain. So currently we support NSXT workloads as PKS also recommends it. So we have that integration is done, and it is all automated fashion. And once the Kubernetes cluster is available, it's an end user can actually leverage the Kubernetes cluster for their deployment and development. And this is about, like, how do we integrate between a private on-prem and the public infrastructure using HCX. Nitin, you want to go about more?
Yeah. So HCX is basically used for migration of VMs from on-prem to off-prem and then back to on-prem. So in HCX, we have built-in L2 extension. So if you want to keep the same IP addresses across private and public cloud and do a live vMotion, we do support that. It has built-in WAN optimization, which can optimize the traffic while the VM is getting migrated from the private cloud to public cloud and back to private cloud. So in the backend, it uses a vSphere application, but it is very advanced, advanced technology, and you can actually do bulk migration of VMs using HCX. So we have seen customers evacuating the whole data center with almost 2,000, 3,000 VMs just in a 1 week time using HCX by doing bulk migration, live vMotion or vSphere application, using vSphere application in the backend.
And this is also about like integration using HCX with the AWS, where VMware Cloud Foundation runs as a service in AWS environment, where they deploy the SDDC instance, where we can actually integrate that SDDC instance in AWS cloud with the on-prem cloud. So this again done through HCX, where single instance of vRelays can manage these two. So this provides operational consistency, where the cloud foundation stack is in the AWS and as well as on-prem is same. So your application, your apps, or the VM doesn't have, I mean, it's a same platform. It's a common platform. It's a standard platform to run your apps. So the VCF enables them with the common platform.
And once you have that VM running in VMC on AWS, you can also use the native AWS services like S3, Lambda, EC2. You can use the same native AWS services if you have AWS as an account for the VMs which are running on VMC on AWS.
So this is also, this slide talk about our public cloud partners. We do a cloud deployment. We see a cloud deployment on Azure, Google Cloud, OVH, Fujitsu, CenturyLink, Backspace. So these are the various advantages with the VMware Cloud Foundation, where you can migrate your workloads and you will have a common platform between the public cloud and a private cloud.
So there was a question on the Q&A window. What are the public clouds supported today with HCX? So I think we have already answered. Yeah. So these are the public clouds. Almost all the major public cloud, Azure, Google Cloud, AWS, OVH, CenturyLink, Backspace, they're all supported.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think we are good. In the interest of time, I think we should close. We are already 5 minutes ahead of time. Let me see. I think we have one more question. We'll take the last question. For HCX, are there any dependency on VC or ESXi versions? For example, a minimum ESXi version considering the scenario of migrating from legacy infra to the cloud. As far as I know, it does support until 5.x version. It can be 5.0, 5.1, 5.5 to 6.7 version. It does support all the versions of vSphere.
So HCX does support those versions, whereas the VCF Cloud Foundation has a BOM configurations based on the versions. So we adhere to those versions, those supported versions.
Okay, one more question. Natively public cloud supported or should be VCF deployment in public? I think it is VCF deployment in public, because with VCF you get a consistent infrastructure like vSphere, vSAN, and NSX. It can't be any public cloud. You should have cloud foundation in public cloud to support migration using HCX.
Yes, you're right, Nitin.
Correct. Okay. So we are done. No more questions.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Lakshmi, for a wonderful session. for a wonderful demo as well. Thank you very much. Thank you everyone for attending the session. If you want the recording of the webinar, get in touch with your respective TAMs. We will share the recording with the TAMs, and then you can get it from them and share it with your team members. Thank you all.
Yeah, thank you all. Thanks.
Thanks, Lakshmi. Bye-bye.
Bye.